Sounds good. So let's say XRP price prediction.
Did repeal Biden's exec order on AI, which was 100 pages of unnecessary regulation on AI.
And just the ease of which regular folks.
There is no future, I think.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Future Millionaire. I'm so glad you're here with me today. I hope you're having an absolutely amazing day, no matter where you are in this incredible world of ours. Today we're diving deep into XRP. And I need to start with something really important that's going to blow your mind. XRP literally cannot be mined. And here's the kicker. This is exactly why its price is set to skyrocket significantly. Now, you might be wondering what sparked this whole discussion. Well, I keep seeing people out there saying that more and more XRP will just keep getting mined over time. But here's the thing. That's completely wrong, and I'm about to explain why this misconception could be costing you big time. Look, I'm not sure if these folks are brand new to crypto or what's going on here, but let me make this crystal clear. You absolutely cannot mine XRP, period. End of story. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. And shout out to Smoke for pointing this out. XRP is actually deflationary. Think about it. Every single time someone makes a transaction, a tiny bit of XRP gets burned forever. It's like the supply is constantly shrinking, which is pretty wild when you think about it. But here's the thing. And this is where I might surprise you. That burning mechanism? That's not even what I believe is going to be the main driver pushing XRP's price through the roof. Listen, that burning process? Sure, it's happening. But it would take absolutely forever for that alone to really move the needle on XRP's price. We're talking years and years here. But here's what's actually going to be the game changer, and this is huge. It's the lockups. When people start using XRP for what it was actually designed to do, they're going to lock away massive amounts of it. And you know what that means? Scarcity, my friend. Basic supply and demand economics. Think about it. When XRP gets locked up in real-world use cases, that's XRP that's literally taken off the market. Less supply available, but demand keeps growing. That's when things get really exciting for the price. Another great watch from beyond broke 3 to 4-digit XRP before the end of 2025. A 1 million XRP price prediction in a decade. Whew. So Jake Clapper is once again saying this. Take a listen.
Sounds good. So let's say XRP price prediction. Just ETFs, I think somewhere between 10 and $50 is very reasonable. If we get all of the other catalysts, and I think we will, again, I give it a 95% certainty that it happens this year, you could easily have a 3 or 4-digit XRP by the end of 2025. 2026 to 2027, I think you'll see tokenization of derivatives, and that puts XRP at a 5-digit price.
Wow.
And then, beyond that, if you do have tokenization of real estate and all of these other real-world assets, and 85% of that ends up on chain by the end of 2030, 6 figures by the end of 2030 for XRP. And then, if you wanted to go even further out, I do think that it'll reach the $1 million mark if you gave it a decade.
Now, here's where things get absolutely mind-blowing. Imagine if one single XRP could be worth $1 million a decade from now. I know. Your brain probably just went, wait, what? When you heard that. And honestly, that's exactly how most people react. But hold on. Before we all start planning our retirement parties, there's a whole lot that needs to happen first. Those ETFs everyone's talking about, they're just the tip of the iceberg. According to the experts, ETFs alone could push us from around $10 all the way up to $50. Pretty sweet, right? But here's where it gets even more exciting. We're literally about to enter alt season. Plus, we're finally going to get the regulatory clarity we've all been waiting for. Now picture this. When you combine crystal clear regulations with institutions getting the green light and those ETFs all hitting at the same time, we could be looking at XRP hitting close to $100. Can you imagine that kind of move? All right, now I need to address something that's been blowing up in my comments and DMs. The Jay Clever situation. There's apparently a lawsuit involving allegations of fake wire transfers, impersonation, and a bunch of other serious stuff. And honestly, as someone who actually invested in his XRP funds at DWP, I'm sitting here thinking, why didn't any of us investors hear about this? So here's the deal. This is a real lawsuit we're talking about. Now, I've seen some people in the comments saying, oh, it's already done, it's been settled. But here's the thing, I haven't heard a peep from Jay Clever himself about any of this. Look, I really didn't want to dive into this drama because, let's be honest, there's always two sides to every story, right? But so many of you have been asking me about it that I felt like I owed you my take. My gut feeling? This was probably settled behind closed doors, and maybe, just maybe, he's got some kind of gag order as part of that settlement. You know how these legal things work. Sometimes you literally can't talk about it even if you want to. We really don't know if Jake says something about it. I definitely will share it with all of you crypto Trump. Our upcoming crypto regulation would start Bitcoin crypto boom. Take a listen to this.
We did repeal Biden's exec order on AI, which was 100 pages of unnecessary regulation on AI. We've ended the war on crypto, and I think we're trying to stop the regulatory capture that benefits large incumbents. So you have all these things, and there's been other things that have been done on the economy as well. But I do think that this sets us up for a Trump boom in the future. It's just that a lot of these changes take time to play out.
Now here's what's really interesting. Notice how he didn't mention Bitcoin even once, not a single word about it. Whew. And you know what? I think regulations are going to be an absolute game changer, especially for utility-driven cryptocurrencies. Here's my prediction, and I really believe this is going to happen. Regulators are finally going to start putting cryptocurrencies into clear categories. They're going to look at each one and say, okay, this one, it has a real use case. This one over here, nah, no use case at all. This one, pure speculation. But this one, this has genuine, real-world value. And here's the kicker. When they start making those distinctions, guess which cryptocurrencies are going to come out on top? The utility-driven ones. The ones that actually solve real problems and have genuine use cases are going to benefit way more than Bitcoin. Walmart's XRP integration involving RLUSD is underway. Okay, this is where things get absolutely wild. So you've probably heard about this massive Walmart crypto deal with OnePay, right? Well, here's the plot twist that's got everyone talking. That deal is actually powered by a company called Zero Hash. And get this, guess what stablecoin Zero Hash is using for all of this? RLUSD exclamation mark. I mean, are you kidding me right now? Everyone's buzzing about how OnePay is basically bringing crypto mainstream through Walmart, which is huge on its own. But what people might not realize is the deeper connection here. But I want you to hear what he says here, what their CEO says.
And just the ease of which regular folks, people who go to Walmart, there are 150 million Americans who use Walmart online or in person every week, can now actually have crypto in the very same app. They can buy it, they can hold it, they can store it, they can trade it if they want. And then when they want to go pay for something, they can turn it into cash and like we said, go, OnePay is actually integrated into the checkouts of Walmart. So it is, I think, a milestone in that case, Carl.
All right, Hugh, thank you.
Now here's why this is absolutely massive. We're talking about exposing crypto to Walmart's 150 million weekly customers. Can you wrap your head around that number? 150 million people every single week. I guarantee you at least some of those folks are going to think, maybe I should check out this crypto thing. That's potentially millions of new people entering the crypto space. But wait, here's the key detail that a lot of people are missing. When he explained how this actually works, he said something really important. You're converting from crypto to cash right there at checkout. So you're not literally buying your groceries with Bitcoin or XRP. What's happening is you're paying with either regular cash or a stablecoin at the very end. It's like a seamless conversion happening behind the scenes, which honestly makes it way more user-friendly for everyday people. I want to see where it goes from here. Head of crypto PayPal says on-chain payments are the future. Take a listen.
There is no future, I think, without an intersection or a bridge to on-chain payments. It's not going to exist. They are super helpful into the future of financial accounts, into the future of payments. You can sit back and watch. You can choose to be scared, or you can actually step in and iterate and learn your way through it.
Listen, everything is moving on-chain, and I mean everything. All payments, all transactions, the whole financial system. And here's the crazy part. The big players already know this is happening. When she said, you can either sit back and watch, or you could step in, that hit me like a ton of bricks. Because here's the harsh reality. A lot of people are going to get completely left behind when this transition goes full throttle. And you know who I think is going to get hit the hardest? Traditional banks. Why? Because they're being so stubborn about embracing the future. They're literally clinging to the past like their lives depend on it. But here's the thing. They want to keep that old, outdated system running because guess what? They're making bank off of it. They're milking every last drop of profit from the current system, even though they know it's on its way out. The question is, are you going to be one of the people watching from the sidelines, or are you going to step in and be part of this massive shift? Exactly. They're dragging their feet because they don't want to rush into this whole digital revolution. Can you blame them? They're comfortable where they are. But here's where things get really exciting. Lakshman Capitalist's co-founder, Burson, just dropped another bombshell about XRP's future. And guys, this one's huge. He's doubling down on his conviction, and this time, he's saying something that's going to blow your mind. XRP's strategic utility is going to become so incredibly valuable that it'll eventually be too precious to just leave sitting around in open circulation. Think about that for a second. We're talking about XRP becoming so essential, so critical to the financial system, that it becomes like digital gold that institutions will hoard rather than trade. That's the kind of scarcity that creates life-changing wealth. I think once XRP's utility really kicks in, I think it's going to disappear out of circulation at some point. Okay, here's something that's going to completely change the game this time around. Picture this. When people start selling on the way up, and let's be honest, some people always do, who do you think is going to be there ready to scoop up all that XRP? In previous bull runs, it was always the whales gobbling up everything you were selling. But this time, it's going to be massive institutions with deep pockets buying up your XRP. And here's the kicker. They're not just buying it to flip it. They're locking it away for the long haul. And get this, a ton of these companies are already exploring yield options because they want their crypto investments working for them 24/7. That's why I'm always telling you guys, start thinking like these institutional investors. Don't be in such a rush to sell your XRP. Put that thing to work for you. You can borrow against it, potentially avoid those nasty taxes, and there are so many more options coming down the pipeline. But here's what drives me crazy. So many people are missing the bigger picture. They're like, I just want to cash out this run. This is going to be my retirement. Hold up, though. Inflation isn't slowing down, and the US dollar keeps losing value every single day. You might actually be better off staying in crypto, or at least cashing out into a stablecoin instead of going back to that depreciating dollar. Look, I keep hammering this stuff home because I genuinely want you to succeed. I want all of this to be part of your master game plan. And here's the thing. You absolutely have to have a game plan in this crypto space. You can't just wing it. Seriously, grab a pen right now and write down your price points, exactly where you plan to take some profits. Write them down, stick them somewhere you'll see them every day, and then actually stick to those numbers when the time comes. No emotions, no FOMO, just pure strategy. And speaking of perfect timing, XRP is back in the spotlight big time. Why? Because we've got the highly anticipated Swell 2025 event coming up in just 3 weeks. And let me tell you, the excitement is building fast. Guys, I have a really good feeling about Ripple Swell this time around. Like, really good. When you look at the lineup of heavyweights they've got coming, it's absolutely insane. And here's what I'm predicting. We're going to see a ton of people loading up on XRP in the weeks leading up to Swell. Why? Because if you've been paying attention to previous years, you know that major announcements always seem to drop when Swell kicks off. It's like clockwork. But here's what's got me absolutely pumped. Look at who's preparing for this event. BlackRock, NASDAQ, and Citi. I mean, when BlackRock shows up to your party, you know something big is brewing behind the scenes. The fact that BlackRock is going to be there, that's not just a coincidence, my friends. That tells me Ripple and BlackRock are working together way more than any of us realize. I'm telling you, there's so much happening in the background right now that nobody's talking about. I guarantee you there are NDAs flying around left and right, keeping all the juicy details under wraps until the perfect moment. ... Okay, this is where things get absolutely mind-blowing. We're already seeing 12 million XRP locked up in global DeFi, and that's just from Axelar and Midas alone. Can you imagine? But guys, this is literally just the tip of the iceberg. We're about to see massive amounts of XRP getting locked away for DeFi purposes, and it's going to be insane. Just look at what Flare is planning. They want to hold 5% of the entire XRP supply. 5%! That's not pocket change we're talking about here. And here's the kicker. I guarantee you other companies are watching Flare and thinking, wow, that's a brilliant strategy. They're all going to start following the same playbook. Buy up as much XRP as possible, pull it out of circulation, and put it to work generating returns. This is just the very beginning of something absolutely massive, and most people have no idea what's coming. We're witnessing the start of the great XRP lockup, and it's going to change everything. All right, this insight comes from Paul Barron, and it's absolutely brilliant. He asks, why are big banks absolutely terrified of Open Banking Rule 1033? Here's why. Because it finally gives you the power to choose where to take your financial data. You can move it to better apps, crypto services, budgeting tools, whatever works best for you. But banks, they want to stay as the gatekeepers who tax every single transaction and control all your choices. Open banking equals financial freedom, but the bank's version? It's like a walled garden where they just collect rent from you forever. I'm telling you right now, banks are not rushing to embrace crypto. But here's what's going to happen. The moment one major bank jumps in and gets a massive advantage over all the others, that's when you'll see them all scrambling to get on board. Until then, they're perfectly happy collecting those fat fees. They want to squeeze every last penny out of the money sitting in your account. Why do you think you can't even get 1% interest on your checking or savings account? Because the bank is getting rich while you stay poor, and your money keeps losing value every single day. But here's why I'm so excited. We're seeing this massive shift into the crypto space because it's about to open up incredible new possibilities for crypto investors. Anyone still keeping all their money in traditional banks? They're going to miss out completely on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But you know what? Anyone getting in now is going to have a huge advantage over the institutions. The fact that you're invested in XRP today is an absolute game changer. You literally beat the institutions to the punch. Here's my advice. Don't sell too soon. Because when these institutions finally come in, they're going to push these cryptocurrencies to price points that we could only dream of just a few years ago during that brutal crypto crackdown. Once they fully open up this space, we're going to hit numbers that will blow your mind. And all those people talking about market cap this, market cap that from previous cycles, that's all going out the window. Remember, we're not invested in some boring old stock market. We're invested in crypto. And that's exactly why market cap doesn't matter the same way. What matters is utility. We're going to see scarcity and massive demand happening at the exact same time for XRP. But until it all unfolds, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. All right, everyone, that's a wrap on today's video. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I truly appreciate all the support. I'll catch you in the next one.